Welcome to Freaky Fauna Friday, where every Friday we take a little time and explore some of the freaks of nature from around the planet we cherish so deeply. So please, jump aboard and let's explore the wilds together. Welcome back to Freaky Fauna Friday. I'm the great and peaceful Mr. E.
And I am Jay.
And I wanted to start this year. I kind of have, at least for a couple weeks, I've got a rhythm going for the next couple weeks of Freaky Fauna.
Oh.
I wanted animals that break the laws of physics because I just had a conversation this past weekend as of recording this, and somebody's told me that, no, they really don't. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to agree to disagree with you because there is plenty of animals that when they did break the laws of physics, they had to rewrite the laws of physics around them.
Right.
Our friend, the mantis shrimp, which we've done an episode on. Have we done an episode on the pistol shrimp?
If we haven't,
It'll be next week.
We surely talked about it on other shows.
Yeah, if I haven't done an episode on Freaky Fauna about the pistol shrimps, they'll be probably next week then.
So stay tuned.
Those are two animals that they've had to rewrite the laws of physics around.
Spoiler alert.
I won't tell you what they do. Well, the mantis shrimp, pistol shrimp's a little different. Which they call them shrimps. I don't think either of them are actually shrimp.
Are they prawns?
The mantis shrimp is a crustacean, barely. Like it's one of those weird, like way offshoots, ancient. The pistol shrimp looks a little more like a crayfish. It may be a prawn. I don't know. Today we're going to talk about the ornamental hornet.
Ornamental?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Not oriental.
No.
That is another species of hornet.
Yeah.
And for me being dyslexic,
Ooh.
they popped up. It was hard
different. To research between the two.
Yes. The ornamental. See, I'm already doing it.
Yeah, it's happening. So ornament, like on your Christmas tree.
But it is from Asia.
Oh, so there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
A lot of overlap, huh?
Vespa orientalis or ornamentalis. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a bad one already.
Yep.
The ornamental hornet is a social insect from the family Vespidae, which is wasp. What is it? Vespa Queen, I think, is a Pokemon. It's named after, they do a lot of scientific names to Pokemons.
Huh.
Like Vulpix is Red Fox. Vulpix is the Red Fox scientific name.
That one I knew.
But there is a lot more others. Like Vespa Queen is the big wasp.
Huh.
And so that's the wasp family group. They can be found anywhere in Southwest Asia, Northeast Africa, and the island of Madagascar. But there haven't been any reports made from the presence of their island in many, many years. But there's a chance they're still on the uninhabited side of the island. They're also found in the Middle East, Central Asia, and parts of Southern Europe.
So they're kind of all over.
Yeah, and we'll talk about why. They also have been found in a few isolated locations in Mexico and Chile. And that's 100% due to humans.
I'd imagine.
Yeah, so their range has expanded dramatically due to humans. They kind of end up popping up in all kinds of weird little spots around the world. Like, they're one of these insects that you wouldn't question anybody. I think I found an ornamental hornet. Like, in North America. This would be one that you'd be like, oh, okay.
Okay, so I don't know what these look like, but you just triggered a memory for me, and I did see this weird hornet, and I'm wondering if that would be crazy if it was this thing.
I doubt it was this thing. Here, why don't you pull up a picture while I keep talking?
Of an ornamental hornet?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, these guys, like I said, they're mostly found in Asia, Africa, and Europe, but they have little pop-up spots all around the world, pretty much. They live in hives in seasonal colonies consistent of a caste system dominated by a queen, like most hornets. The hornets build a nest underground and communicate using sound vibrations. So anybody don't know this, with insects like ants, bees, and hornets, a lot of times they communicate with vibrations and dance. They always make fun of, they always talk about bees dancing to, share information.
Okay.
But it's just like us talking. And the complexness of the dance may indicate words. So we used to have this idea that they were much more like a hive mind. That's actually where the name comes from, is animals like this. But they may be more individually intelligent than once thought.
So, okay, it's ornament, right?
Yeah.
I can't find it. It's only popping up Oriental.
Maybe I read it wrong already.
Maybe you did. Maybe it is Oriental hornet.
I guess. Okay, look up Oriental hornet.
Yep, I am. I'm right here.
Dyslexic.
Yeah, I think we are Oriental. I think that's where we're at. Oriental. So it is. It's not ornament. It's Oriental. Like the soup.
All right, well, there you go. Anyways, so the hornet builds, like I said, underground nest. They have yellow stripes on their exoskeleton, which makes them okay. You want to hear something freaky about them? Why did they break the laws of physics? What are
Yes.
these guys doing?
That's what I want to know.
These yellow stripes absorb sunlight to generate a small electrical potential.
What?
This helps them supply energy while digging.
What?
Now, I'll come back to this later.
Yes, please do.
The adult hornet eats nectar and fruit and scavenges on insects and animal protein to feed its young. So, like a lot of hornets, you see them pulling on meat and stuff like that. They're not actually eating that.
What are they doing?
That's taking it back to their babies.
Oh, okay.
The adults are pretty much nectivores and fruit eaters.
Okay.
So they don't, like a lot of the adult hornet species do not eat protein.
Right.
Like animal proteins.
What do they do? Just chew it up and take it back
Yeah,
to
because the larva
hive?
will eat whatever.
Okay.
Even some species of hornet larvae will eat each other if they're not fed fast enough. Because they're still in that growing phase. They're much more animal protein heavy.
Yeah, they just need nutrients.
Yeah, and they will eat each other. The hornets also served as transmitter for diseases following consumption of infected plants. The hornets are a primary pest of honeybees, attacking bee colonies to obtain honey and other animal proteins from the insects. The sting of the Oriental hornet is quite painful to humans, and some humans have an allergic reaction.
Wow.
So these are pretty nasty guys to get stung by.
But any hornet in general.
Yeah, no hornets are nice to be stung by.
I got a scar on my forearm from being stung by a hornet.
Same. I forget, it was in the Jeep Wrangler, like at 5 a.m. One was in there and it stung me, and I couldn't see what I was doing.
Oh, dang. I got stung playing bocce ball in French class.
So, appearance of these guys, adult hornets have 2 pairs of wings and the body measuring about 35 millimeters long, which is about 1.5 inches long. So, typical hornet size.
Yeah.
Drones and workers are smaller than the queen. They are one of the subspecies is a reddish brown color with distinct thick yellow bands on their abdomen and yellow patches on their head between their eyes. They have extremely strong jaws and often bite when provoked, as well as sting.
Okay.
Females, the workers and the queens, have an ovipositor. This is a specialized organ shaped like a tube that allows them to use to lay eggs. The ovipositor extends from the end of the abdomen, and it's used as a stinger also.
Oh, wow. It's dual purpose. Multi-tool.
Males can be distinguished from workers by their numbers of segments on their abdomen. Drones, males are drones, have 13 segments. Workers have 12. The Oriental hornet is similar to the European hornet and should not be confused with the Asian giant hornet of East Asia. So they look kind of similar to other species. Like I already talked about, their range: Central Asia, Southwest Asia, Turkey, India, Nepal, the Middle East, Northeast Africa, the Afro-tropical countries such as Ethiopia and Somalia, parts of Southern Europe, which I'm trying to think, Greece, Spain, Cyprus, Sicily, and some parts of the peninsula of Italy. Horned hornets have been introduced to many human locations, including Chile, Madagascar, Mexico, China, as well as occasionally being introduced via fruit into Belgium and the United Kingdom. So these guys are fruit hitchhikers.
Oh, okay.
The Oriental hornet has also a number of genus Vespa that can be found in desert climates, such as Northern Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Southwest Asia. So these guys' lifestyle, there are social wasps, but there are non-social wasps. Do you know that?
I figured a lot of them weren't that social. Well, I guess they are. They always
They're
are
hive
together
animals.
in the hive.
They're hive animals.
I guess they are.
That's social complex.
Yeah. I guess when you ever see one, though, like it's always by itself.
Or, groups, the small groups. But no, when you're at a hive, they're social animals.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Individuals will live collectively in colonies and one queen and 1,000 workers. Social wasps are unusual in the practice of altruism, which is the non-reproductive individuals work for the benefit of the colony. So they're all working. There's only one or a very few reproductive individuals, like a queen laying eggs.
The rest are like eunuchs.
Well, no. So most of the females can produce eggs if they wanted to.
Oh, they just don't.
So it's a collective working for the benefit of the species, is what it's saying, basically. This occurs when all individuals in the colony are mostly closely related.
Okay.
So it's a family group working for a common goal. Very odd in nature. It's very rare. The venom of these guys has been tested in germ-positive bacteria. Was tested on germ-positive bacteria, Staphylococcus and Bacillus stabilis. Germ-negative bacteria, The venom extracted shows that it's effective in inhibiting the growth of germ-positive bacteria.
Oh.
And the venom is therefore regarded as a potential therapeutic agent.
Hmm.
So their venom may be an antibiotic.
Yeah. So it sounds like.
Yeah, they're still working on it. It's very new. It's hard to milk them for venom.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
But no, there's some of these bacteria that are starting to become antibiotic resistant. These are some of the things we're kind of looking at.
Okay.
So it doesn't look like it destroys these bacteria, but it looks like it stops their growth. And this may allow your immune system to catch up with it.
Yeah.
As long as you're not allergic to the venom.
Yeah, that would be bad.
All right. Like I said, these guys capture insects such as grasshoppers, fleas, honeybees, bispids, which are other wasps, which they feed to their babies. Adults, I guess, when they collect animal protein, it's almost always for the young, pieces of flesh, spoiled meat, and fish. The adults pretty much only eat carbohydrates, nectar, honeydews, fruits.
Okay.
So their digestive systems are very, very different between adults and babies. Mating habits. The Oriental hornet lives in the nest it digs underground. On the roof bases of each comb is one cell, is a mineral, like a cap that they make. The nest contains multiple combs and the colony lives in. While the nests are most commonly found under the ground, some paper nests are constructed in protective hollows, such as inside hollow trees, in shipping containers, parked vehicles, and aircraft. Basically, any little nook and cranny they can find in. If it's not safe enough, they'll build a paper nest.
Okay.
If it's safe enough, they'll just dig. They'll just dig into the dirt and build a nice nest.
Huh.
The construction of a paper nest, the workers strip the bark from twigs, branches, and shrubs to collect the fiber, and they weave it into a paper-like substance to make a nest.
That's crazy.
So that paper you see, like even paper hornets around here and stuff like that, that's tree bark that they're chewing up and they're actually making paper.
Like paper mache almost even.
Yeah, well, that's what they do with it after. But what we do to make paper is we shred trees and stuff down to their fibers, and then we drip them and get them flat. That's what they're doing.
That's crazy.
So they actually make paper.
We're imitating nature.
And then last little thing is they photosynthesize.
Let's get back to that. Let's get back to that.
Oh, what do you want to know about that?
I want to know about that and the electrical. Well, I don't know what
it's photosynthesize. It's taking sun and turning it into electrical or potential.
Yeah. Let's hear about that.
What else do you want to know?
I want to know how that works, because that's what plants do.
Yes, no.
Okay.
Plants use sunlight to make sugar.
Okay.
And then they use sugar for power.
Okay.
These guys are taking sunlight to electricity.
So like a solar panel.
Yes.
Okay.
These are solar-powered insects. We don't know how it works.
There's got to be. There's some explanation.
No, there is. There is a little bit. It's still under. And we actually found this is one of a very large group of understood or misunderstood animals, where there's a whole large group of insects that we're now finding out have solar powered cells.
Yeah.
Not photosynthesizing cells.
Right.
It's a unique process, not just to plants, but taking sunlight and making sugars. This is taking sunlight, converting to electricity. Bioelectricity. Like, everybody, your muscles and stuff are powered by electricity. That's what they're using for this.
Your heart.
Everything is powered by electricity.
Brain.
We're burning stuff to make electricity.
Yeah.
Like in our bodies. You're burning up carbohydrates, fats, proteins to make electricity to move. So that's what these guys are doing, but they're skipping the step. We don't understand a lot about it, but we've seen them. They will actually park and charge their solar panels.
Dang.
And they'll use it for digging. So they do not, when they're digging these big complex tunnels, what we think is it's not as efficient as food digestion for them. But when they're working on making or constructing a hive, we think that it is much more time efficient. They're not going out hunting. They're not going out foraging. They're not leaving the hive. It's not unguarded.
Spending
they
calories.
They can sit there by the mouth of the hive.
Yeah.
And solar charge.
Recharge their batteries.
And go back in and keep digging.
Yeah.
But so the hive, when it's vulnerable, when it's not completed, is not being left unguarded then.
All right.
The queen's not being unguarded. The kids aren't being unguarded.
They're still there.
But we don't, as a whole, we think that it's probably still more beneficial for them to digest food if it's just looking at the pure time versus calories.
Right, yeah.
But during these crucial moments, there's actually some beetles that are doing this that we found out that aren't. And so the color green is, often synonymous with sun power, right?
Right.
And that's because of photosynthesis,
Right.
Chloroplast is green. The algae are green that animals use and stuff like that. These guys are using yellow, which is fine. It's just absorbing a different ray of sunlight to power. We're finding other insects are doing the same thing with various colors. from reds. I think black was one that was mentioned a lot.
Wow.
Blues. It just whatever light you're going to use. So like I said, we don't know a lot how this process is going. We know that they are converting it. It's very, very under like they just discovered they could do this.
So it's pretty wild.
Solar powered insects.
Huh, I never knew that was even possible.
There's also some chance that they could use it for hard times, like starvation, droughts and that kind of stuff. That you'll just see one of these holes with all these hornets just standing out around it with the sun.
Can we get some solar panels hooked up to us?
I didn't think you liked solar panels.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's the most efficient way. I'm just saying it would be nice to just recharge my batteries by standing in the sun. And
I think they've talked about that with humans as doing like what lettuce sea slugs do and stuff like that. Is pretty much just putting like you'd have to do like a CRISPR thing, change your DNA.
Oh, gotcha.
But for like putting algae in your skin that your body takes care of, but that also produces sugars for you.
Oh, so you don't have to eat then?
Oh, you'd be green.
Yeah, that's all right.
But you'd have to like lay outside naked.
There's a trade-off for everything.
So yeah, like I said, most of the time, as far as we know, at least right now, these animals that are quote unquote photosynthesizing and or being solar powered, it's not as efficient as eating.
Okay, that's still the best way.
Like both the leafy sea slug, which we talked about in this show, still eats. They get a bonus from their algae on their back.
Gotcha.
And these guys are using it for just special times. It's not, as they're flying around, they're always doing it, right? They're always solar powered.
Right, they're always in the sun.
It's always a bonus, but they're still eating.
Right.
They're still seeking out food sources. They're still,
They can't live off just that, yeah.
Or at least they can't do their everyday lifestyle as efficiently and live off it.
Okay.
And I think they talk about that with solar panels and stuff too, with like cars and like RVs and that kind of stuff. We've talked about that where they put them on the roofs. Like, yes, it does make power, that you can't do everything you can do if you plugged in.
Right.
Which is, virtually unlimited power, quote unquote, for at least an individual user.
Right. As long as you have the money to pay for it.
Right. You couldn't, there's not very many ways an individual could pull off the grid hard enough to not get power.
Right. Yeah.
But no, like I said, there's just not a lot understood about these guys. And that's what happens when these animals start breaking the laws of physics. Solar panels this small shouldn't work. That's what a lot of people say. They're much more efficient than our solar panels.
We just need to hook up 8,000 of these to a battery.
I mean,
and just see how much they can charge in a day.
Probably, I'm going to guess not very much.
Okay, 12,000.
I'm going to guess it's not. So it's weird with biological electricity versus like computer consumption.
Right.
Or electronic consumption. I think what is it? Your brain, I can't remember. Your brain runs, they were talking about like on 1/10 of what like a light bulb runs in a day. It was what your brain runs in a week. Like electrical consumption. Like biological systems are much more efficient.
Yeah.
At power usage.
Okay.
So they need much less power than, electronics. So trying to use this kind of thing for electronics may not convert as well.
Yeah.
Because they need less energy. I don't know. Like I said, there's no really studies, as far as I could find, where they've really tore into this and seen how much power they produce. They just started barely figuring out that they produce solar power.
So this is something to stay tuned to.
Yeah. These are right now breaking in the current understanding of electricity and how we work with animals and stuff like that.
And there's no reason we can't figure out how it works and reverse engineer it and put it into things to help people. I don't know. There's got to be ways.
Now, one day, the electric eels and these wasps are going to get together.
Hybridize?
And they're going to form an army.
Of hybridized eel wasps?
No, the eels will charge them. And
the
wasp will attack and carry baby eels to further distances.
Yeah, they're okay. What's that called? What's that relationship called? With
symbiotic.
Symbiotic relationship, yeah.
That would be a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, that's what I can see it happening. I'll see it happen. I'll put it in my bingo card.
Well, I didn't see that in my 2025 bingo card.
Right, yeah.
No, hopefully you enjoyed this one. Like I said, this one we're still learning about. We're still doing stuff with.
This is the Oriental Hornet.
It's my bad.
Yeah, it's okay.
Can't read.
I think by now people understand you're dyslexic and whatever else you got.
A lot of problems. I've been hitting the head with a hammer one time.
Yeah.
To fall apart. That sucked. Thanks, Dad.
And on that note,
I've been the great and peaceful Mystery.
And I've been Jay.
We'll catch you next week, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Freaky Fauna Friday. If you want to help the podcast grow, remember to share and give it a 5-star review.